Okay, so for this is problem number 22 from section 7.1, and we're going to be finding the area between two lines. The first line is fx equals negative x squared plus 4x plus 2, and the second line is g of x is equal to x plus 2. And to find that's going to be the region right over here. This is all doing graphs, and it's going to be the region right in between the two curves. The red line is f of x and the blue line is g of x. And so the first thing we have to do is to find the points of intersection, and we can do this either by looking at the graph, and we find one here at x equals 0 and one right here at x equals 3, or we can solve it algebraically, and to do it algebraically we have to set the two equations equal to each other. So first we do negative x squared plus 4x plus 2 is equal to x plus 2, and then we get negative x squared plus 3x is equal to 0, and then we get negative x times x minus 3 is equal to 0, and then we get x is equal to 3 and x is equal to 0, as we saw was in the graph as well. And so to find the area between the two lines, the basic integral setup is integral from point A to point B of the top function minus the bottom function. And so when we look at the graph up here, we can try to figure out which is the top and which is the bottom. And as you can see here, the top function is going to be f of x, and the bottom function that's bounding the region is going to be g of x. So now we go back down and we can say it's the integral from a to b of f of x minus g of x, and of course we have to have the dx. And now that we have our basic integral set up, we can start plugging in values. So we can say this integral from 0 to 3 of negative x squared plus 4x plus 2 minus x plus 2 dx. And then we can simplify that down and we'll get the integral from 0 to 3 of negative x squared plus 3x dx. And once we take the integral, we'll get negative 1/3 x cubed plus 3/2 x squared evaluated at 0 and 3. So now what we have to do to solve the problem is plug in our values into this equation. So we get negative 1/3 3 cubed plus 3/2 3 squared minus, when we plug in 0, it's just gonna end up being 0. So the simplified down, that's negative 9 plus 27/2, which equals 9 halves. the answer to this problem. Okay, so for this is problem number 22 from section 7.1, and we're going to be finding the area between two lines. The first line is fx equals negative x squared plus 4x plus 2, and the second line